Objective, the distributive property and factoring. Vic number 1, find the GCF of the two numbers. Remember, GCF is greatest common factor. Vic number 2, rewrite using the distributive property. So we're going to use factoring and the distributive property in today's lesson. Examples, use the GCF and distributive property to find the sum. Example number 1, 36 plus 8. Yes, I know that you can add 36 plus 8. However, we are going to factor out the greatest common factor. So step number 1, Vic number 1, is to find the GCF of the two numbers. So list out your factors for 36 and 8. Factors for 36 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, and 36. Factors for 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. What is the biggest number that they both have in common? We see that the GCF is 4. So we know our GCF is 4. We're going to factor that GCF out. So you set it up this way. 4 times what gives me 36? 4 times 9. 4 times what gives me 8? 4 times 2. So all we've done here is we've rewritten 36 plus 8, pulling out the common factor of 4. Alright, so we're going to use our distributive property. The 4 goes on the outside. You put your 9 plus 2 on the inside. Again, you can go ahead and add what's in parentheses. 9 plus 2 is 11, and 4 times 11 is 44. We know that the sum of 36 plus 8 is 44, and we got that by factoring out our GCF of 4. Example number 2. Use the GCF and the distributive property to find the sum. So we're going to find the sum of 27 plus 18. First step is to find the GCF. So we're going to list out our factors. The factors of 18 are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. The factors of 27 are 1, 3, 9, and 27. So we know that the biggest number that both of these numbers have in common is 9. Our GCF is 9. So we're going to pull out a 9 from both of these. 9 times what gives me 27? You know that 9 times 3 gives you 27. 9 times what gives me 18? You know that 9 times 2 gives you 18. You still keep your 9 factored out. Put 3 plus 2 in parentheses. And 3 plus 2 is 5. And 9 times 5 is 45. The sum of those two numbers is 45. Example 3. We're going to do the same thing with 25 plus 60. The first thing we need to do is list out those factors to find the GCF. The factors of 25 are 1, 5, and 25. The factors of 60, there's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, and 60. The biggest number that both of those have in common is 5. So our GCF is 5. We're going to factor out of 5 because we know that 5 can be multiplied into both of those numbers. So 5 times what gives me 25? 5 times 5 plus factor of 5. 5 times what gives me 60? You know that is 12. Bring down your factor of 5, and we're going to add our 5 plus 12. Keep your factor of 5, your GCF out. 5 plus 12 is 17, and 17 times 5 gives us, 85. The sum of those two numbers is 85. Apply the distributive property to the algebraic expression. This time we're going to use GCF and we're going to use the distributive property, but we're going to have algebraic expressions, not just numeric expressions. So there's going to be some variables there, but we can still do the same thing. 24x plus 18y. Well, we know we can't add those together because they're not like terms, but we can factor out the common factor. So for 18 and 24, list your factors. 18, 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. For 24, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. The biggest number that both of those have in common is 6. We know that our GCF is 6. So we're going to factor out a 6 from both numbers. 6 times what gives me 24x? We know 6 times 4 gives us 24, but you have to include the x. 6 times 4x gives us 24x. 6 times what gives us 18y? We know that 6 times 3 gives us 18, but 6 times what gives us 18y? 6 times 3y. In parentheses, we're going to do 4x plus 3y, and we're going to stop. We cannot add 4x plus 3y because they are not like terms, but we have factored out the common factor between 24x and 18y, which is 6. This is your final answer. Example number 5, 10x plus 15. We're going to list out the factors of 10 and 15. Factors of 10 are 1, 5, and 10, and the factors of 15 are 1, 3, 5, and 15. The factor they have in common, or the biggest factor they have in common, is 5. So we're going to factor out a 5. 5 times what gives me 10x? 5 times 2x gives me 10x. 5 times what gives me 15? We know that 5 times 3 is 15. Bring down your parentheses, 2x plus 3. We're going to leave it like that. Remember, we can't add 2x plus 3 because they are not like terms. So 5 and 2x plus 3 are factors of this algebraic expression. And last example, example number 6. 16x plus 32y. We're going to find the GCF. So list the factors of 16. 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. And the factors of 32. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. The biggest number they have in common is actually 16. So 16 is our GCF that we're factoring out. 16 times what gives me 16x? 16 times x gives me 16x. 16 times what gives me 32y? Well, 16 times 2 gives me 32, and 16 times 2y gives me 32y. Keep out your factor GCF of 16, bring down x plus 2y. We're going to stop there. This is our final answer because we cannot add these because they are not like terms.